Good evening. I'm Judy Woodruff in New York.
And I'm Jim Lehrer in Washington. After our summary of the news this Friday, relief agency officials and others react to the proposal to send a UN military force to stop the dying in Somalia. Fred DeSam Lazaro reports on the Mall of America. David Gergen and Mark Shields analyze the politics of the week. And we close with an M.I. Wallach essay.
Funding for the MacNeil Lehrer NewsHour has been provided by PepsiCo. PepsiCo. Part of helping the world live and communicate better is keeping it well informed. That's why funding for the NewsHour is also provided by AT&T and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and viewers like you.
White House spokesman Marlin Fitzwater said today mounting a large United Nations military force in Somalia remained in the diplomatic stage. He said stronger military action was needed to make sure relief supplies get distributed. The lives of some 2 million Somalis are considered at risk from starvation or disease. Fitzwater said a UN decision on the next step is expected within the next several days. The United States has offered to send up to 30,000 troops as part of a larger UN force. They would be charged with protecting food, medicine, and other aid from feuding warlords. Fitzwater spoke in Maine, where President Bush is vacationing.
This is a diplomatic phase where the UN decides what course it wants to take. The United States is, of course, supportive. We want to do whatever we can to make sure the food gets into Somalia. There are starving people there. Reports of starvation are well documented. And the fact is that the violence and the factional fighting and the warlords and so forth are preventing the aid getting in, not only from the United States, but from other countries as well. And it's just simply a matter that we've reached a point where something must be done to ensure that those deliveries get through.
One of Somalia's main warlords today welcomed the prospect of further UN military intervention. General Mohammed Farah Aidid blocked the deployment of a 3,500-member UN peacekeeping force earlier this year, instead allowing only 500 UN troops in. Aidid said today he thought U.S. forces might help him gain control of the country. We'll have more on this story right after the news summary. Judy?
In U.S. economic news, personal income rose 1% in October, the largest increase in 10 months. In a separate report, the government reported consumer spending was also up. It increased 0.7% last month. The news came on a day that is typically the busiest shopping day of the year. Retailers are optimistic that this year will be better than the past several. President-elect Clinton was doing his part, greeting shoppers at a mall in Glendale, California. He and his family are vacationing with friends nearby. Earlier, Mr. Clinton met with former President Ronald Reagan. The two men talked about the transition process and Mr. Reagan's first year in office. The former president also presented Mr. Clinton with a jar of red, white, and blue jelly beans.
There was a mild earthquake today near Big Bear Lake, California, about 75 miles east of Los Angeles. No injuries were reported. Scientists said the quake measured 5.4 on the Richter scale and was really an aftershock from two quakes which hit the area June 28th.
There was an unsuccessful coup attempt today against Venezuelan President Carlos Andrés Pérez. This evening, the government imposed a curfew and temporarily suspended constitutional rights. During the uprising, at least 19 people were killed. Hundreds were wounded, and a bomb exploded near the presidential palace. The rebellion was believed to have been led by a group of military officers who made a similar attempt last February. Pérez went on national television 10 hours after the uprising and declared the coup leaders had surrendered. The German government today banned a neo-Nazi group called the Nationalist Front. Germany's interior minister said the action should be seen as a, quote, unmistakable warning to extreme right-wing organizations. The government has been trying to end a growing wave of violence aimed at foreigners and Jews. Today's action came shortly after a memorial service was held for 3 Turks who were killed when their apartment building was firebombed on Monday. We have a report narrated by David Simon of Worldwide Television News.
Germany's shattered Turkish community paid its respects to the woman and 2 children killed during the brutal neo-Nazi attack. Emotion ran high as thousands mourned their loss. This attack marked a turning point in the current wave of neo-Nazism, so frighteningly reminiscent of Germany in the 1930s. Foreign Minister Klaus Kinkel attended the memorial service for this innocent child and her 2 relatives. The angry crowd threw eggs as he began to speak. Tired of words, Germans want the government to take action and stem the growing tide of neo-Nazism which is sweeping their country. The foreign minister expressed his sadness to the crowd at the loss of innocent lives.
16 people have been killed in nearly 1,800 right-wing attacks in Germany this year.
Voters in Ireland have rejected allowing abortions when necessary to save a mother's life. They approved 2 other constitutional amendments which permit women to travel abroad for abortions and abortion information to be distributed in Ireland. Fire swept through one wing of Austria's Hofburg Palace. Many of the nation's art treasures and valuable books are kept there, and all were saved. The stables for the famous Lipizzaner stallions are near the palace. All 69 of the horses were taken to a nearby park. Officials do not know what caused the fire. Damage was estimated at nearly $100 million.
That's it for our summary of the day's news. Just ahead on the NewsHour, the proposal to send U.S. troops into Somalia. The Mall of America gets ready for the holidays. Gergen and Shields, and an Amai Wallach essay.